Most players would just back it up and wait for their teammates in this 1-on-3 fast break situation, but not this guy.
Draymond Green, Barbosa to the rack. Oh!
If you're talking about attacking in transition, Leandro Barbosa is definitely one of the best at putting his defender in the rearview mirror using his blinding speed.
And it poked away. This time there is the long pass, and what a pinpoint passing.
Man, that type of speed that he has kind of reminded me of this guy. Well anyway guys, it's story time once again, and in this video we're going to throw it back a bit and talk about the life of the Brazilian blur, also known as Leandro Barbosa. Leandro Matias Barbosa was born at the heart of Sao Paulo, Brazil on November 28, 1982. Before being globally known as the Brazilian blur, Barbosa went by the nickname of Leandrino, which literally means Little Leandro. The suffix that he used, ino, is also widely used by lots of native Brazilians, including popular soccer players, like this guy, and this guy right here. Well, speaking of these guys, soccer can be considered as a religion in Brazil and still remains the #1 sport in the country to this very day. Before Barbosa began to shoot hoops in an indoor gym, the young Leandro was striking goals out on the soccer field and was originally destined to be a football player. In fact, he grew up around the sport a bit closer than his peers as his family had strong ties with a local football club called Corinthians.
Socrates.
Leandro reminisced about the time he spent supporting his favorite team together with his dad, and here's what he had to say. My father was Corinthiano, and from the time I was born, we had a flag of the team, and we went to Paysandu Stadium. Even now, many Corinthians players are my friends. Though he initially thought that he was locked in with football for life, Leandro gradually found interest in taking up another ball sport when he was a teenager, and it turned out to be basketball. When I was a little kid, I played soccer. In Brazil, soccer is very big. I think all the youngsters play. I liked sports, so I played soccer and basketball. Yes, I think it helped to play both. As a two-sport athlete, Leandro was able to use his deep knowledge of football and incorporate it whenever he played hoops. He also drew similarities between the two sports, and it just goes to show that his vast experience in football has helped him to become a better basketball player. Basketball is similar to soccer, but you use your hands. I always talk about soccer and basketball in terms of vision and facilitating passes and how that happens. At the same time, you get the timing. You gauge the distances, the angles of passes, when to defend, when to attack. You learn a lot from soccer, and it makes basketball easier. When he was about 17 years old, Leandrino was little known more as he gained a few inches, and this was the cue for him to solely focus his effort on playing basketball. He debuted for the local ball club Palmeiras around the same age and played for 2 years there. During his last year with the team, Leandro was averaging 14.2 points a ball game before he got traded to Bauru in 2001. Playing for his second professional ball club, Barbosa made some serious splash by averaging 15.8 points, 6.4 assists, and 1.7 steals per ball game in his first year, and this was more than enough to crown him as the League Rookie of the Year. And just a year later, Barbosa led his team to a championship in 2002 by averaging 28.2 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists a ball game. After winning a championship in Brazil, Barbosa finally made his presence felt in the international scene when he became a part of the Brazilian national team that competed in the 2002 FIBA World Cup Championship held in Indianapolis, Indiana. The eye-popping numbers that he put up in his last year playing in Brazil caught the attention of NBA scouts, particularly scouts coming from the San Antonio Spurs camp, a team that we all know has a long history of drafting talented international players, and at the 2003 NBA draft, the Spurs didn't second guess in picking Barbosa as their 28th draft pick.
Work on it and in time be a really good player. This is somebody they can park overseas.
Though he was originally selected by the Spurs, his rights were acquired by the Phoenix Suns in a trade for a future first-round pick. Barbosa held a decent run as an NBA rookie by averaging 7.9 points, 2.4 assists, and 1.3 steals while playing under 22 minutes a ball game. But his diminished role with the team didn't last long, as Mike D'Antoni took charge as the head coach of the Suns just the following season, which was then followed by the reacquisition of the two-time MVP, Steve Nash, who made the team absolutely deadly on the offensive end of the court.
Barbosa turns. Off the glass.
After only averaging single digits in his first 2 seasons, Barbosa would amp up his scoring to 13.1, thanks to the up-tempo 7 seconds or less offense that D'Antoni orchestrated. While Nash and Amari Stoudemire held the fort for the starting unit, Barbosa was the designated hitman that provided firepower coming off the bench for the Suns.
Barbosa, oh, he set Harris really.
With ease as well against this porous Phoenix defense. And here we go, Barbosa. Again, Jerry, that took...
And during the 06-07 season, his hard work finally paid off when he won the 6th Man of the Year honors by averaging 18.1 points, 4 assists, and 1.2 steals while logging in a career high of 32.7 minutes a ball game. After 7 seasons playing in the Valley, Barbosa was shipped up north to Toronto in exchange for Dwayne Jones and Hedo Turkoglu. Though his numbers weren't as productive as in Phoenix, Barbosa still proved to be a key player, having double-digit output and scoring with his 2-year stay with the Raptors. After that, he was on the move once again, this time playing 1 season each for Indiana and Boston in the next 2 years, before going back to Phoenix, where he would only play for 20 games.
Spread the floor, that's why they took Hibbert out as well. Here at the end of the court, Barbosa.
Pierce comes out high, sets a screen. Barbosa, floater, off the glass, 2 more. That's too easy.
Now, at the tail end of his illustrious career, Barbosa finally signed with the Warriors in 2014 at the age of 32, but still provided the same type of energy coming off the bench and continued to be relentless in attacking the rim. I mean, check this out.
Good one, and now just seconds with a good move. Barbosa scooping it up and home! Oh my goodness!
Despite his limited presence on the hardwood, Barbosa showed up whenever his number was called, and he became an integral piece in the Dubs championship run back in 2015, especially in the playoffs.
Hand is not in. Gonna be Barbosa. He'll get the bigger role.
After playing for the Dubs the following season, Barbosa returned to Phoenix for one last time before being waived in 2017. Barbosa knew he still had enough gas left in the tank at age 34. And when no NBA teams decided to pick him, he packed his bags and headed home to play competitive ball back in Brazil for 2 more years. And what's even more awesome about his homecoming was that he used his childhood nickname, Leandrino, for the back of his jersey.
2 minutos para terminar, nada definido. Leandrinho, é na hora de fim.
Aside from his accomplishments in the NBA and in the Brazil League, Barbosa also took pride in being a member of the Brazil national team, as he belongs to a rare breed of players who constantly answer the call of duty whenever their country asks them to serve.
De esta selección de Estados Unidos en este torneo de las Américas.
Bueno.
Here comes Leandro Barbosa, unstoppable.
It was about time.
Allá va Leandro Barbosa, se la va a jugar de 3.
Trying to get Leandro Barbosa going. He's a scorer who hasn't scored until now.
Going to work through the legs, behind the back, all the moves. The floater, Leandro Barbosa, turning back the clock.
After countless games that he played in the NBA, in Brazil, and including international competitions, Barbosa finally hung up his sneakers for good at the age of 36. Just like what happened to former Warrior vets like Zaza Pachulia and Sean Livingston, Barbosa was offered a position in the Warriors organization on his retirement day and now serves as a player mentor coach for the Dubs. He gave a heartfelt message on his Instagram account the day he announced his retirement, and here's part of it. I couldn't tell exactly when basketball first crossed my path, but for over 20 years of my life has revolved around the orange ball. Any high-performance athlete knows what I'm talking about, but for the mass majority of people, it's never enough to stress that this means giving up a lot and doing so for a very long time. Difficult decisions and sacrifices must be made along the way. I consider myself a winner. I left a rough neighborhood in Sao Paulo, Brazil, to play 850 games in the largest basketball league on the planet, and more than 100 games defending my home country in 4 FIBA Basketball World Cups and 2 Olympic Games. I also earned an NBA championship ring. I was the first Brazilian to have ever received an individual award in the NBA, in addition to being a Brazilian champion. Oh boy, I can't help but be proud of my trajectory. What an amazing story by Barbosa. It's stories like these that inspire me to be better every single day, week, and year. If y'all want to get more inspired, then you gotta watch the story of Shaun Livingston. Every NBA player has a unique story, and Livingston has one that teaches me to never, ever, ever give up. It's a big one, guys, and I'm sure you'll love it. Anyway, just click the video, and like always, I'll be waiting on the other side.